I'm super excited to explore today's topic because it's going to require that you get naked with yourself. And the reason why this is important is because as we go on this self-exploration journey, you're going to need to get very honest with yourself. Well, that is if you want to reap the benefits of our conversation. And what we're going to be looking at today is your relationship to power. And why this is critical is because there's many things that drive our choices. But if we were to peel that onion of possibilities right to its core, we would find that our pursuit of power, or what we perceive to be power, is really at the core, or what really drives our choices. And so let us start by asking our self-exploration question, and then we will get deeper into exploring this topic. So the question is, if nobody was ever to see or know about your academic accomplishments, your credentials, how much money you have, how many people you have working for you, your purchases, your athletic endeavors, or your aesthetic gains, meaning your physical appearance, would you still work so hard to pursue them? And the reason why this question is so powerful is because when people ask themselves that question, typically the answer is no, I wouldn't work so hard if other people could not see any one of those accomplishments. And part of what drives this is that we have learned to establish an external relationship with power, because what we have learned is that what other people want us to accomplish and external sources of power are the things that are going to make us feel like we matter, like we're significant, and like we're enough. So when we achieve these external sources of power, we're under the illusion that we will be empowered and powerful. But I want to challenge that. And I want to invite you to see the other side of the argument coming from a holistic health consultant of 20 years experience. And what I've found is that a lot of my clients have gotten very lost in the pursuit of this illusion of external power. And they have totally given their power away, expecting the validation of the people outside of them once they achieve each one of these things. But what a lot of them find is that when they get there, nothing really changes inside of themselves, and they just feel more empty, and they just want to keep pursuing more and more and more of these things. It's never enough. And one of the things that happens in that process, and the reason why I'm having this conversation with you, is because people tend to disconnect from themselves and from what they really need. In other words, they actually turn against themselves. They betray themselves in order to pursue these things. So they will not get enough sleep because they're on the go, 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 because this is more important. They will engage in practices that work against their body because they need to look a certain way. And so in order to get that external validation, they will compromise their health and go into a health crisis. For other people, it's they will disconnect from their families, from their children, from their spouse, because they just need to work all the time, and this is more important. So what ends up happening is that they end up going into either a crisis of health or a crisis of self, a life crisis. And typically that crisis of health is when we disconnect from nature and the things that we need to do to nurture our bodies. That creates stress when we go against nature. But when we go against our nature, against who we really are, then that creates another level of stress. And that is when we are in that process of self-betrayal. And the reason why we start experiencing, and listen to the word, dis-ease, when we engage in this, is because our bodies, our self, every aspect of our being is out of ease. We're no longer flowing with our authentic self and the things that we need to do, but rather we're swimming against the current. This is the stress. And most people try to patch the symptom and tackle the little fires. But if we were to get to the root of this, we would find that it's that pursuit of power, of external power, owning the illusion of power through trying to control things outside of us. that creates all that stress. So what is the solution to this? Well, in my opinion and in my experience, the solution is to go on a step-by-step self-exploration journey where we learn to connect with ourselves. We learn how to nurture our bodies, and we learn how to be authentic to our nature, who we really came here to be, what we really came here to do. You see, to me, empowerment is not having any of those things, because those things come from outside. And the word empowerment to me means power from within. I am the source of my power, and I don't need to sell my soul, my body, my health, my integrity in order to accomplish any one of those things, because I am in the pursuit of my own self-respect, not the pursuit of the respect of others. And yeah, we have it great, but if we have it at the expense of self, then can you see how this creates a lot of distress for us? And the beauty of our bodies is that our bodies are an instrument of truth. They don't lie. Their goal is to help us survive. And when we're not being true to ourselves, and when we're disconnected with nature, with our nature, we will start experiencing those symptoms of dis-ease. We are out of ease. Because that is our body's innate intelligence, our body's communication system, by creating all this stress, letting us know that the choices that we're making don't favor our survival, but rather compromise it, that we're not being authentic to self. So what I believe, what I've learned through these years of coaching people, is that what we really are after is developing that relationship with ourselves, learning how to reparent ourselves instead of depending on others to parent us and give us that validation, but learning how to get that validation from within, because we have taken the time to know ourselves, to self-explore, to set our boundaries, to connect with what it is that we want to pursue in this life, and because it's done for us to earn our self-respect. So I believe that empowerment is really about us learning to manage our power from within, so that we can tap into our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and intuitive potential and become whole human beings. So if you find that this is a path that you're on, amazing, I celebrate you. And if you feel a little lost and you feel like your health is being compromised because you can't stop working, or because you can't stop pursuing diets and cosmetic procedures, and or you want to achieve extreme results with your athletic endeavors, and you want to address this relationship to power, reframe it, and learn how to have, or how to transition from an external relationship to power to an internal relationship to power, contact us at Bombshell Formula, and we will help you connect with the right level of support for you, so that you can take your body back, you can take your power back, and you can take your life back and navigate yourself from a place of inner authority, like a wise, empowered bombshell that knows self. A big kiss, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon.